So everybody wants to know who's next at the Smoking Fights right here in Chicago on April 20 of 2024. And today, I'm right here with Harv Warbangers. He's the event coordinator for this event, and he represents USA Boxing to figure out today who's next.
Well, as it turns out, he actually got a lot of options because everyone loves to talk shit about you. So, I mean, if it was up to you, who would you pick to fight?
The number one person I want to fight more so than anybody else is Adam Clown. You know, he's from New Lenox, which is only about 45 minutes from Chicago. So if he was to accept this fight, we can even set the event up right there in New Lenox. This way, if he decides to run again, he ain't got to run very far to get home. I mean, the man's been on social media for 10 years talking shit, called me out, had me waste my time and money once already, then does more videos to try to slander my name. But he's been on social media for 10 years. And he still ain't stepped in the ring with nobody. So we can maybe call this event White Boy versus White Man, or Real versus Fake, because he's about as fake as it gets. Or we can call this event Chicago versus Suburbs. But either way, I'd love to see that little man in the ring. Next.
What if Adam's too scared and says no? What about JD DeLay?
You talking about that little guy from Oregon that has a small man's complex. He may look big on camera, but I guarantee you next to me, I'm going to make him look like a very little man. And he's been a personal troll and hater of mine for over a year and a half now. Talking about he needs to stop acting like a gangster. That man wouldn't know what a gangster was if he was standing right next to him. But at the end of the day, he loves to be a troll. And he can come out here in Chicago and troll me in real life. We'll even cover the airfare and the hotel. And I love to make a highlight reel out of him.
What about that guy, Crip Mac from California?
You talking about that? I think that man has a severe issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't got all his marbles there. But at the end of the day, he talks a lot of shit. And he really serves no purpose here on social media. I just seen him call out this one rapper from Chicago named Famous Richard. This guy weighs about 110 pounds soaking wet. Crip Mac is a heavyweight. So if you want to come on out to Chicago, Crip Mac, and come catch these hands, I'll make a highlight reel out of you all day, every day.
Well, what about Jake Paul, the problem child?
The problem child? Man, that motherfucking guy is a Disney character, right? A Disney character. He's an actor. He puts a shame to the sport of boxing, right? And the biggest difference between him and I is I'm used to fighting for my life. That man never had to fight for his life, not once in his life, right? And there's a big difference between real and fake. And he probably won't acknowledge this. Because at the end of the day, he's fake.
What about Bradley Martin?
Bradley Martin, you talking about that juice head. That guy talks a lot of shit on social media, talking about he can beat anybody anytime he wants. I mean, if Bradley Martin wants to step up, we'll show the whole world that he's big for nothing. He can catch these hands.
After that, well, what about that guy from Utah? What's his name? Burner 420?
Burnout, yeah.
420.
Burnout ran from a fight for me before. He actually did a video saying, all right, Chucky, challenge accepted. But then he ran from the fight, and the event coordinator, vouches to everything, man. Come to find out that Burnout, that's all he's known to do is talk smack. I heard his whole life and account is a parody. And I even talked to that man's family. You know what they said he does? They said he sits around playing video games and smoking all day. He's been on social media for a very long time, and not once have you seen him in the gym. But if he wants to come out to Chicago, we'll make sure that he signs a contract. Just in case he runs again like he's known to do, he'll be held liable because ain't nobody wasting our time nor money. But if he wants to come to Chicago, he could definitely catch these hands all day, every day. As a matter of fact, even a little Burnout, I'll put up my account against his account that he wouldn't even last one round with me.
Hey, what about the guy from Canada, Tom McDonald, friends of Adam Calhoun, right?
Yeah, you talking about the grown man that goes around calling himself a white boy. And he does music talking about how tough he is, trying to talk about America, but he lives in Canada. And he panders to the hatred of Americans today. He likes to talk about how tough he is, but if Ronald McDonald wants to come on out here to Chicago and catch these hands, I'll show everybody the difference between a white boy and a white man.
Well, what about, if no one else accepts, what about a rematch with Viking?
I mean, Lil Viking, honestly, that man was weak. He wasn't even a worthy opponent. You see, I dominated the whole first round, right? All he did was run. The second round, I rushed him. I pulled my tendon bicep muscle. I still won that round, the next round, and won the fight. And then he still tries to come up with an excuse. I don't have much respect for that man. But at the end of the day, his punches were like pillows. And he couldn't even take a jab from me. And he don't deserve to step in the ring again with me. Honestly, I exposed the man on social media. He blocked me. And then I exposed him in the ring. And that's just what I do.
I mean, shit, who's left? Fuck, the gatekeeper of Rhode Island?
You talking about the queen of Rhode Island? You talking about the guy that sits on his live feed all day with his little change cup talking about, please help the needy. Taking cigarette breaks every 5 minutes. That man ain't seen the gym since the last time he drove past one. And he can never get on my level. Tell that little man to go sit in the corner somewhere. And don't forget his dunce cap.
Well, what about his friend, 1090J?
You talking about that one guy that tries to find information on anybody and everybody that he could to label him a snitch, but he's a snitch his damn self. On social media trying to game bang. We know that dude's about as soft as Sherman, right? And if 1090J wants to come out to Chicago, I'll show everybody how soft he is, and we'll definitely make a highlight reel out of him.
Well, if no one else wants to step up, what about Carlos from the show, 60 Days In?
You talking about little Carlita, that's what we call him. You talking about the same guy that was writing statements, popping psych pills, acting like a tough guy wanting audio and video surveillance. He's the epitome of a troll, but he's also a fan. But the fact of the matter is there's weight classes in boxing for a reason. And he's a little guy with little arms. And that fight probably wouldn't even last a minute. He doesn't have much of an audience, and nobody really even cares what he's got to say. Because after that, he's been exposed for being a snake and a fraud and a liar already. Let's see how many people actually comment on this video that say that they would love to see me and Carlos in the ring. But keep in mind, he is a little guy. And I don't think he's going to put on that weight to come see me in the ring. But the bottom line, if he wants to come out to Chicago to come and see me, he has your information. And when we're looking for sparring victims, he can step up for that. He can come on out and he can even record it. And I'll make him go viral for real. But as far as getting in the ring with me, I don't like entertaining snitches. The best thing to do with a snitch is just ignore him.
That's right, y'all. Smoking Fights in Chicago, 420.
Who's next?